Tonight on the Center Beacon, we're talking about game modes. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another performance-enhanced episode of the Center Beacon. In this episode, we're going to talk about a couple different ways to deal with all of the different game modes. There's already 4 modes in the game, with more on the way, so we're going to look at some things we can do to our hangars to ensure that we're ready for any mode. So I pretty much spent all of this month's entire special effects budget on this spinning wheel thing. There's like 47 modes. Not really, there's only 4 modes, but it feels like 47. First up is Old Man mode. For domination, we traditionally set up 4 brawlers and 1 range bot of the player's choice. Big wheel keep on turning. I better stop before I get sued. Next we have First to the Middle Wins mode. I also like to call this one Millennial mode. Beacon Rush typically sees players set up their hangars with all brawlers, but you can also run a range bot in there or 2. Shock trains and scourges work great in this mode. You spin me right round, baby, right round. Camp Your Ass Off mode. Team Deathmatch is all about range. Not to say that you can't play this mode differently, but typically you see pretty range-heavy hangars in this mode. Bust a deal and face the wheel. Good thing they can't sue me for quoting classic science fiction movies. Can they? And finally, how the hell do you play this mode? King of the Hill really focuses on beacon capture, so it is not a bad idea at all to have more speed in your hangar. All the big channels have a spinning game wheel thing. I feel like I'm definitely going to take off now. 1 million subs, here I come. So we've talked about the different modes and kind of what each one requires of our hangars, but what I wanted to know was, can I tackle every mode, all 4 modes, with 1 hangar? The answer to that question is, fortunately, yes, I can, and here I have an example of an ideal hangar setup for every mode. Now, obviously, bot and weapon selection can flex here, and I'm going to show you some of that a little bit later in the video, but the basic takeaway here is running 3 brawlers and 2 mid-range bots. This is what I've found, personally, that works really well for me, regardless of which mode I'm thrown into. Dragoons or beasts. If you caught my Dragoon video a couple weeks back, you can see some really good examples of just how much damage these weapons can do. Shock trains are the kings of the mid-range game. Hail to the king, baby. Spectre or Bulgasari are ideal platforms. The Orkan Haiichi is an all-around workhorse. Speed, firepower, damage mitigation, it can do it all. The Inquisitor's jump plus stealth make it really versatile in various modes. Again, these are ideal examples of bots and weapons that you can run, but the basic idea is to run 3 brawlers and 2 mid-range bots, which really gives you the ability to deal with all the different modes. Now, obviously, you're going to run what you have. What I showed you earlier are some of the most effective bots, weapons, and setups for all the different challenges presented to us. Now, if you don't have all that stuff, that's fine. There are alternatives that you can run while you're building that more powerful hangar, but it's that mix of 3 brawlers to 2 mid-range bots that I find really effective. So that's an all-around single hangar setup. But what if we have multiple hangars? Multiple hangars can make our lives a little bit easier because we can more specifically tailor our hangars to meet the challenges of the mode and also the map. I like to use my second hangar as a dedicated team deathmatch hangar. TDM is all about getting kills and not getting killed. It decides close games, so you can't really afford to give away your bots. If you go in with brawlers, you're going to ultimately feed the red team points. So you need to kind of sit back and let your range do the work for you. So in this hangar, I run a mix of mid-range and long-range bots. There's really no secret formula here. Run what you have. Long range is great. Mid-range fits most of the maps that we have, and indirect fire weapons like Hydras are also very effective on short maps, but a dedicated TDM hangar is a pretty good use for that second hangar if you have it unlocked. You can live without it certainly, but it's not a bad investment. With a third hangar, we're kind of hyper specializing now. You don't necessarily have to have this by any means. I used it mostly just to organize some of my other bots and weapons. When King of the Hill mode came out, I ended up using it for my faster, lighter bots. In that mode, it's really more about getting to the beacons in a timely fashion. I've found that running quicker bots helps me do that. If I run a more traditional hangar, heavier brawlers, more traditional setups, you can certainly do that and you can be successful, but I just tend to focus more on damage. If I really want to capture the beacons, if I really want to help get beacon points and play the mode the way it's meant to be played, I like to run the quicker bots. The mode really tends to de-emphasize damage and puts a greater value on speed and the ability to get from beacon to beacon to collect points for your team. So what I noticed was that I was getting more utility out of some of my older favorite bots from back in the early days of the game, like the Stalker. Some of the newer bots have found a home there as well, like the Strider and the Hover, that aren't bad bots at all. I don't prefer them in some of the other modes, but for King of the Hill, they work out pretty well. That's going to do it for this video. Just trying to get you guys to think about hangar setups, bot selection, weapon selection, just what you're running for all the different modes that we have now. It's not like the old days where we only had one mode to think about. Now we have 4 with more on the way. If you like what I'm doing here on the Center Beacon channel, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up a video, leave a comment. All of those things are very much appreciated and make it a lot easier for me to do what I do. As always, I will see you next time at the Center Beacon.